Hey, well, welcome in everybody. Thank y'all for stopping by and joining us tonight. You are coming into another Parallel Gens podcast, episode 15. My boy's last one over in Korea. He's about to get on that plane in one day on a wake up. So we're looking forward to him get back on this soil safely. So next time you see us on the podcast doing this, it'll probably be a few weeks from now, and he will be back in the U.S. of A. Thank you for coming in. And we are glad that you're here. Eyes and Lee, thank you all very much for always taking care of the things in the back behind the scenes. So we appreciate you all for coming in and joining us tonight. Legendary.
Big bro, as always, what up? Everyone else, hey, welcome in. We appreciate y'all for giving us y'all time, man. Eyes, Lee, as always. Man, listen, it's exciting because just what Big Bro said, this is my last official podcast here in Korea. I did a whole year here, and finally the day has come to where it's time for me to come on back to the States, man, and continue life back in the States. So excited about that. I got a 19-hour flight that's about to occur here Monday. But yeah, man, just excited about that. Today we got a nice podcast. All right. Before we get into that, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, just YouTube Parallel Gens. Gens is GENZ, or you can click the link in my bio, Big Bro bio. Just go ahead and subscribe to that. All the previous episodes that you've missed or possibly have missed, they're all up there on YouTube. Other than that, though, Big Bro, we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so before we get started, if you have any questions, we don't take questions during the segments, but you can put them in the chat. Eyes and Lee will write those down for us or jot those down for us. And at the end of the entire podcast, we'll come back on and answer all your questions and anything else you may have that you want to ask us about. So tonight, we're going to be talking about 4 topics. The first one is going to be generational curses. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go into the next one will be favorite memories unique to your era, my era, his era. We're going to talk about if you could go back to your childhood for a day, what's the first thing you would do? And then the last topic we'll finish on will be what's one lesson you'd like to tell the newer generations for navigating the future. So with that being said, brother, we'll go ahead and jump into generational curses. You can go ahead and get it started.
Woo, generational curses. I think this is a needed topic because not a lot of us kind of acknowledge it and or talk about it. But before I get started, man, I'm just gonna give a brief history of what essentially I think generational curses is. So generational curses, in a sense, is just it has to do with like agreements about like your parents, grandparents, your forefathers, and etc. Whether that's willingly or unwillingly, it's a lot of times like our grandparents or forefathers, they kind of threw in a towel in a sense, as far as acknowledging it. And with that being said, it's some type of sin or some type of addiction in a sense. And then obviously just what he said, like it's generational. Now, when you think of generational curses, some people want to say generational trauma because curses kind of sound a little, a lot to the left, but yeah, that's just my introduction with it. I'm gonna speak about it a little bit more when Big Bro get done.
Yeah, so what I found in my research is that it's not only called generational curses, but it's also called generational consequences. Because it's not really, God is not cursing you in a sense. The things that I read about is just a consequence of what's been passed on from the family to the family. And I can say that for a long time, I thought I knew what mine was growing up. But I come to find out that it really wasn't that at all. It's got something to do with, in my family, not communicating and not being able to talk. And we'll get a little bit deeper into that in a minute. But so going through counseling, I was able to identify that what I thought was a generational curse really wasn't a generational curse. It was just that I was taught from a young age how to run away from issues and run away from problems and not deal with them and communicate with them. So when I got up and got a little older and started getting into relationships, I did the same thing. And I had no idea, but I always said generational curses, though. Generational curses, that's what I thought it was. But it's really not a curse per se. And I'll let you go ahead and I'll jump back in.
Yeah. So the reason why, in a sense, it's so hard, or it seems like it's so hard to break the generational curses, in a sense, is because it's like it's reinforced and it's granted access by like a way of altars, in a sense. And when we say altars, like I'm not trying to get too into the spiritual aspect, but when you say altars, like just think of it as a doorway. So when we think about doorways, like there's a doorway to the spiritual realm and there's a doorway to the physical realm. Like For us right now, right? We know that we in the physical realm, but you have to understand that on the opposite side of that, that door still connects to the spiritual realm as well. But when you think about it in that aspect, this is why it's hard. And I say the first thing when it comes to you trying to break generational curses in this aspect is to acknowledge it, right? Acknowledge that there's a problem. Acknowledge that there's something that's going on within your family or your past generation. Just acknowledging that something needs to change. Just acknowledging that something is occurring to where you can't in a sense kind of explain it, but it feels negative or it feels like things just consistently happen to you or to your kids or to your significant others in that aspect. And then after you acknowledge it, right, depending on what it is, right, you have to be able to forgive in a sense. Just what we said earlier, generational curses in a sense can be tied to generational trauma. So, for an example, maybe you was young. I'm not trying to have anybody relive anything, but just giving an example. Let's just say that some things happened to you when you was a kid and you got S8 or SH by your family member or your cousin or things that happens unfortunately, and you kind of keep that with you, not really knowing that you holding on to things in a sense, and it's kind of creating that aspect to allow a generational curse to continue or to prosper. Because when you hold on to negative things or you don't forgive people, it's not necessarily for them per se. It's for you. You know what I mean? Like when you acknowledge it and then you forgive it, you're forgiving it for yourself because we all know that Jesus died on the cross for our sins. He paid the ultimate price. At the same time, you still have to acknowledge that and you still have to forgive. Even if you feel like your cousin or your family member or whoever did anything to you don't deserve that forgiveness, it's not for you to judge that. You still have to be able to forgive. And then with coming with forgiveness, right? It just honestly you just confessing it and you repenting. So your sins, and then obviously the sins of your mothers, your grandparents, and etc. Like you you have to be able to confess and repent for them too as well, because that's the only way that you're going to, in a sense, stop or break a generational curse. And then obviously the last one I'm going to talk about is kind of acknowledging that there is some type of demonic influences when it comes to generational curses. Like you just, in a sense, you have to be tired of being tired. In a sense, like you have to be tired of going through what you're going through. Because a lot of times there are people who feel like they have in this spiritual warfare, but they're not acknowledging. Going back to the first thing, they're not acknowledging. They're just kind of throwing in the towel. They just kind of just accepting it in a sense and just saying, "Hey, this is just life." Well, not knowing like there's a spiritual warfare that's going on, and you have to do your part. You have to acknowledge that. You have to forgive. Um, you have to, in a sense, repent as well. And then the last thing that I'm gonna talk about when it comes to generational curses is you have to understand that a generational curse is hijacked and perverted in a sense for generational blessing. What that means is there are people who on the spiritual aspect who have visions or they pray to God in a sense for to allow them to see their future or allow them to see what their purpose is and etc. And because of that, there's times to where the generational curse in a sense kind of hijack where you're supposed to be or where you're supposed to go. And just like Adam and Eve in a sense, so like they sinned when they was in a when they was in the garden, they sinned against God, the creation, um, and God in a sense he cursed the ground because of the sin. That makes sense. And because of that, God, before that happened, God said, "Hey, be fruitful and multiply." In a sense. And then now, the curse, which was to the ground, in a sense, is saying like, "Hey, because of what you did, or because of what Adam and Eve did, in a sense, like when it comes to them being fruitful, just what he said, like the childbearing in a sense. Well, now it's going to be pain when you do that because of that generational curse, or when you, in a sense, trying to grow food, or all those things. Now the earth is going to fight against you because of the generational curse. So this is why it's important for you to acknowledge that there is a generational curse, acknowledge those things, forgive, confess, and then work towards whatever it is that you feel like that you need to get to. But yeah, bro, what you got?
So I'm gonna share a little bit of what I read and then tie right into what you just said right now. So it says generational curses are repeating patterns of misfortune that affect a parent as well as their children and beyond. These curses are based on the sins, misdeeds, and other actions of a relative long departed and are passed on for generations. Breaking generational curses involves steps such as repenting of sin, like you said, forgiving ancestors, renouncing curses, and pleading the blood of Jesus. So I'll just go into mine. I want to just share, get a little personal with me. Is that I remember when I was about like 3 years old, my grandmother took me to this, I'll say a soothsayer. I'll just say it like that for someone to pray over me, and that's been with me my entire life. I've been just the whole generational curse thing. I think she was trying to pray that away because you know how our grandparents and before them what they thought about such things. So that's what she was trying to do for me. But even though she did that, I was still going through the generational curse that I saw that I think was passed on from my grandmother to my mother to my aunts and uncles to me and on to my kids. And hopefully it's not like that. Well, they can talk and I can talk to them about it and help them deal with it as well. But like I said at the beginning of the intro, mine was in relationships and running. All of them have been married and divorced. All of them ran from relationships. And that was just a thing that just occurred and occurred. And it wasn't until I talked to someone, to be honest with you, I was sitting back because you talk about when you went to different services and things like that of different religions.
Yeah.
Me and this Mormon in Korea, Kunsan Korea, we were sitting down talking about stuff and we just happened to connect. And we were just talking about different things and that came up and that subject came up. And we started talking about it, man. And then it just clicked in me that I was repeating the same thing that I had seen happening in my family and I didn't even know what I was doing. So I went and saw someone for it, and a pastor and a psychologist. I saw both because I needed that part to be able to not only pray for it, but when I pray for it, know how to effectively deal with it and handle it, the situation, and have tools to deal with it. So I really had to just really focus on that because it was easy for me to walk up to somebody and I wouldn't think twice about it because it was that's just what I did. You know, fortunately, I was able to get a handle on it, and now I've identified it, and I know exactly how to deal with that when it comes up or when that thought comes up. So now I'm good now, but for a while, man, it was like you said, you hurt people along the way because you don't know what you're even doing yourself. You know, so you have to just focus on. You have to really get some help and talk to somebody, and like you said, pray on it, but also do other things to help you deal with those thoughts when they come to your mind to start repeating the same things over and over again.
And then, like, just to add on to that, once you start the journey of breaking your generational curse, you got to understand, like, not to talk about the demonic side of it, but there are just going to be some things to where they're going to try to stop you or try to, put stumbling blocks on your journey. So what that look like in real time is like once you start that generational curse, right, and then you try to explain that to your parents or you try to, do the things that you know to do now, a lot of them times, like your family members gonna turn on you in a sense, like they gonna look at you like you weird. They gonna like, ah, man, something wrong with you, or ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm fine, and all this, And again, you got to remember, like even when it comes to the forgiving aspect, it's not only for them, but it's for you as well. So just kind of keep that in mind too.
That's odd you would say that because I tried to speak to my mom about it after I saw the pastor and counseling. She didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
That's
I
what
was
I'm
like, but
saying.
I'm trying to share something with you because we grew up, sit in the corner and be a kid and don't say nothing. So we talk, but we never communicated. So we've been working on that to this day right now because we've never been able to just talk about it. Like I used to say, why am I calling? All we do is say, hello, how you doing? Everything going well? You have a brother doing good? Okay, all right, bye. No, I want to talk to you. So when I started telling her that, man, it's like it's something. It did something to her. So I backed off a little bit, because I realized that everyone has to deal with it in their own time. But I want to have a deep conversation about what I was going through, but I'm not able to do that because she doesn't want to talk about those things, which I totally understand. So it's my cross to bear for me. I'll deal with it my way, and then she have to deal with it her own way, But she didn't want to do it. She didn't like stop talking to them, but she did not want to talk about it though.
Yeah, I mean, and again, those type of strongholds that's on, the generations or your family and etc. Like again, like not to say that they're demons in a sense like them per se, but you got to understand that they're gonna try to protect whatever it is that they was quote unquote granted to or granted access to. Because again, when it comes to generational curses, all it is just an agreement between whatever sin that you had and whatever demonic access that you've given them in a sense. But yeah, and then the last thing I'll talk about generational curses in a sense is just you got to remember that it not only stops or stops with you, but like you have to empower your kids. Like you have to be able to allow your kids to acknowledge it, teach the kids the ways, because that's the only way you're gonna break it. If you, in a sense, just keep doing the sin, or you keep doing whatever it is that you was raised to do, and you know that it's wrong, or you unwillingly do it, and then your kids see that, they're gonna think it's okay. And then now, in a sense, because you got to understand, like it's already in our DNA, it's already genetic. Like sin is already here because of Adam and Eve. But you have to consistently not only teach yourself, but you have to teach your kids in ways on how to fight, especially when it comes to temptation or when it comes to sin, or even when it comes to just acknowledging that there is a problem. Because, like I said earlier, a lot of people even acknowledge that. They just, in a sense, just kind of just sweep it under the rug and be like, oh no, this is just life, you know?
Right. Yep.
And just like unconsciously just allowing those things to happen. And like I said, like there's a spiritual warfare going on, and there's just steps that you just have to take in order for you to do that. But the first thing, obviously, just what we said is acknowledging.
Right. I love the acknowledging part because I think that is the very first thing, and that's absolutely a must that you have to acknowledge it. But I think you and I would agree that because we've identified and we're able to deal with it, it helps us deal with talking to our kids then and sharing it with them, and not they're not going to come around maybe as we will, but at least we give them we plant that seed in them. So once they're ready, it'll germinate and it'll become fruitful then, and they'll be able to deal with it, because if not, they're just going to repeat the same things. But luckily we're able to talk to them and share our experiences on a level where we can communicate about it versus not talking about it at all. So I think that really helps them out to give them some idea about what you were going through, why some things happen in your life, and you may have been with their mother or something, but now you're not together. That's why the things happen, because you didn't have control of. But then now you're giving them tools to be able to deal with their relationships much better than we did. And that's all I have on that one, brother.
The last thing I'm gonna offer is, I kind of already spoke about it again, but this is serious. Like you have to forgive people. You got to forgive situations. You have to forgive yourself. Like you can't hold on to that. And just what I said, like the main thing that we can kind of all relate to, unfortunately, is SA or SH, growing up, as kids, and then being around your cousins or being around your uncles, you know what I mean? Like, and a lot of times we feel like they don't deserve that forgiveness, or they'll forgive them for that. But that's when you consistently allowing a generational curse to continue. Like that's the first step when we talk about the acknowledging. Like you have to be able to forgive them, even if you feel like they don't deserve forgiveness. They deserve to rot in whatever place that you think they deserve to rot in. But this is where it comes this is what we mean when we say, like, what I'm saying, you have to forgive. You gotta let go of those things because it will consume you. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that forgiveness thing real quick though. I love that because you always talk about that. Nobody's perfect, and you have to be able to forgive people and move on. You don't get caught up in trying to make a perfect person in front of you. You accept that person for who they are. Now, forgiving don't mean you have to like what they did, and don't mean you're gonna be there, but you are able to forgive them and move on from it though, and just let it be. And I think that's like you said, that's very crucial that you can forgive and move on. That don't necessarily mean you have to put up what someone is doing. That means that you release whatever they did to you, so it's not tied to you, and you can move on from it. They can stay there if they want to, but I'm gonna leave you right there. I'm gonna get on with this.
That's it. That's all I got for that one. Unless you got something else.
Ooh. All right, now that's it. All right, so what we decided to do tonight, we had that one serious one. Now we're going to jump into something that's fun. We're going to jump into a few topics that I think would be fun going back down memory lane with. So the first one we're going to be talking about, we're going to talk about favorite memories unique to our era. And so I'll let you go ahead and then I'll jump in.
Oh, man, unique to my era. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I love saying that I'm almost 40. I'm 37. All right. I graduated high school back in 2006. I got some of my classmates that's in here or whatnot. But yeah, the main thing that I can kind of relate to, growing up in that aspect is, first off, the Nintendo era. And I know a lot of y'all don't play games and none of that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all like all that childish. But when you're a kid and you first get introduced to Mario, you know what I'm saying? You first get introduced to Super Nintendo Mario Kart, all those things, man, that played a major role in your life, and then especially when it comes to you being able to be competitive. Because I'm a very competitive person. I don't like losing to nothing. I don't care what it is. I don't want to lose. And then on top of the Nintendos, some of you gonna laugh when I say this, but we did have the Walkmans, we did have the cassette player, but the main thing for my generation is them iPods. You know when iPods first came out, them big bulky, the big bulky iPods. You know what I'm talking about? Like they just had all the music, and like the first generation iPod was like huge. It looked like a doggone chalk block. Like it looked like a book, but it was, you know what I'm saying? It was thick as hell. It had all the songs, and it had all the songs and whatnot. And then it slowly kind of got smaller, thin. Then you had the Natto, then you have all the other ones. But when it comes to that, I'll talk a little bit more on that. What you got, bro?
Hey, look here. So this is why I love what we do, right? Because you could talk about that. I remember when that came out, I was almost an adult then when that came out, probably an adult. But my favorite memories from my era, and we talk about, a lot of people talk about it a lot now. I was outside. I was always outside. I was outside so much. Let me tell you how bad I was, because I don't sleep a whole lot. I've never slept a whole lot in my life. So I'd be outside like at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. My mama, she'd come out there, boy, get up in this house. As soon, hey, legendary. As soon as I heard a door open, so hey, you ready to play? Let's play. My mama, boy, you better get back up in this house, man. So all my memories from childhood are centered around being outside, whether it's at the basketball court, on the dirt court, or in the park, in the little park playing football, whatever. And also we had a big old hill when they had built the apartments. That was in the back. We'd go back there and be throwing dirt at people, wore it out, That was wild. So once I hit this little kid, his name was Patrick. I won't say his last name, but I hit him. He was going home crying. I said, "Oh no, don't go home and cry, man. Why you cry, baby? You gonna go home and get me in trouble. You shouldn't have been playing, But all my memories that I have about centered on that. I'm gonna talk about going out in the woods in a minute. I'll let you talk now, but I'm gonna talk about when we used to go out in the woods too.
Yeah. So that, man, the iPod era, the Nintendos, and then slowly it went up to the PS4. But just going back to what you were saying, that's one of the biggest kind of aspects of my life. Like I say this all the time on my live, like no one knew where you were as a kid. Like that sounds crazy when you say it out loud now in today's generation, but back then that was okay. And the only way that you knew is your mom or your whoever it is gonna get in their little station wagon and then go to all your little friends' house. And the only reason why you knew where we was at, because all our bicycles was all just stacked on each other at somebody's house. Just what you said, like I'm talking about, as soon as the sun come up, as soon as you know what I'm saying, you ready to go outside, your mom like, hey, where you going? You brush your teeth, you wash your face, you did this, you did that. You're like, I just want to go outside and play, man. I don't care about none of that. I just want to go play my face. And it's so crazy, like, because when you compare that to today's generation, and again, it's our fault, it's parents' fault. The first thing to do is acknowledging it. Is just kids don't want to go play outside no more, man. And unfortunately, man, we just live in a society where everything is just online, social media, social this, social that. But being outside and playing, but my favorite thing outside of the bike, because listen, we was 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. I'm talking about we riding for miles. You hear me? Like I grew up in the South End. We'd be in the North End. We'd be in the West End. The crazy part about it is we would have to cross highways and freeways. Yeah. And the problem was we felt like all the cars would stop us. We in the right, we kids, we got our bikes. Man, we up here weaving through traffic, just trying to get across the freeway, trying to get to the house. And the last thing I'll talk about is when it came to the sport. When we used to play football, all we needed was a ball. That's it. When it comes to tackling, when it comes to trash talking, when it comes to just doing anything spectacular, all we needed was all our homeboys, and we played football. We ain't need no water, no Gatorade. Now, we passed out and all that,
All day long outside.
It was just fun. Like, it was just fun. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. So, hey, I'll touch on that bicycle thing. One of the distinct memories I have about that is one time I got caught on the other side of town. What was happening? The sun was going down. Boy, you should have saw me trying to get back home.
Down street light, boy.
Everyone that don't know, I was born in the 60s. I know y'all don't think I was born in the 60s, so that's why I talk about us being separate. So I grew up in an era where there were still phones on the wall, or you had that long cord in the phone where you can stretch it across the living room and stuff like that, you know. But going back to the woods, we had built us a little playground or a little camp out in the woods. One day, one of our little friends, he was out there waiting on us. He fell asleep. They couldn't find him. They was out there at night looking for him because he had fell asleep in the woods. Hey, my mama came, have you seen such and such? No, ma'am. I ain't saying, I don't know where yet. Because you knew if you said something, what you doing out in the woods? You playing in the woods. You know that man live out there in the woods. You shouldn't be out there in the woods like that. But it was wild, man. But I'm not proud of it. Another thing from my childhood, though, is we would make slingshots. We had to take turns going into the little convenience store stealing rubber bands so we can make slingshots and then turn the screens out of the window to help us make them with it. It was some wild stuff. But the best memory I had, the best memory I had, we had this dude that he ran the apartment complex, right? I played basketball. He coached basketball also. And every Saturday morning after basketball games, we would go to IHOP. That's why I'm a big fan of IHOP to this day. We would go straight to IHOP. I used to love, because I grew up in a single mama home, so we'd always have pancakes and going to IHOP and stuff. So that he treated us every weekend. I love going to IHOP. His name was Mr. Bob. We would go to IHOP, man, and just smash out. We had a good time. We had a real good time. And my next love, you already know what I'm about to say. I fell in love with that Whopper at 9 years old, man. That Whopper. I fell in love with that Whopper at 9 years old, man. And I used to eat two of them, man, at like 10, 11 years old, man. So yeah, that was one thing. Those things are what I really remember about, and it's good memories though. You know, although you would fight, you know, in the neighborhood, next hour you back best friends and stuff. You had a great time when you was growing up, you know. So it was good.
It wasn't no pew pew like, hey, you fight, you win, you lose, and then that was it.
Yep.
You just continue on. This was, you know what I'm saying? You didn't get posted on social media and all that stuff, and you didn't go viral off that. That was just crazy. The last thing I'm gonna talk about though, because you brought up them damn street lights. Man, those street lights was my damn nemesis growing up. And the crazy part about it is you try to tell the younger generation now, it's like, man, you had to be home before the street lights. And they're like, why don't you just make it home before the street lights? Because you had fun outside. You know what I'm saying? It's like outside was just it. You know what I'm saying? Like
you stayed out there all day.
Man, you can do whatever you want to do, be whoever you want it to be, especially as a kid. Like, your imagination is crazy. And the problem is you have to be home for them damn street lights. Man, hey, the crazy part about it, if you see them damn street lights coming on, hey, you might as well take your time. You might as well take your time. Because you already know, hey, my mom will be outside sitting in her little rocket chair. Look, sitting in her little rocket chair with that damn belt. She's like, oh, you think you grown? Look, 9, 10. She's like, you think you grown, huh? You don't think you should be home for the street lights? Hey, if you don't make it home for the street lights, go ahead and take your time. There ain't no use rushing. Ain't no use rushing.
That's wild. That's wild. You know what? I tried that one time, right? Me and my brother, my second brother, I tried that. We was out there, it was dark, and we should have been at home probably like 30, 40 minutes ago. We just have forget. We out here now. Man, somebody said, Gage, your mama coming. We looked up.
Ooh, that's the worst, right?
My brother took off around one place. I walked right by. She popped me twice, and she took off after. Man, they was on us so bad for about 2 or 3 weeks talking about that mess, bro. It was wild. The last thing I say, and it didn't happen, but hide and go get it. I'll leave it at that.
And the crazy part about it is like, as a kid, you're so innocent to that aspect, even though like you know, but you don't fully.
And nothing happened. Nothing never happened. You know
exactly. You don't really understand that nothing really happened in a sense, but it's like you just so innocent, and I don't know how to explain that. But that was crazy.
That was it. That was a little kiss on the hand. That was it. You know, whatever. But anyway, that's all I got for that one, bro. But I can go on all night about that, bro.
Yeah, man, that's some more. I've been trying to explain to them, like, listen, the street lights was our time. You know, like you had to be home for the street light. Yeah. And the crazy part about it, I used to tell them, like, my mom used to leave us at home by herself while she worked overnight. She worked during the day. We at home by ourselves. Now again, you know what I'm saying? You saying that now, you be like, oh, we gonna call CPS. What was CPS? What? Man, hey, your mom give you that safety briefing. Hey, I'm about to leave and go to work. The only person you gonna open the door up for is Jesus, and he ain't coming no time soon. So don't open the door. Hold on, let me do this real quick.
That's what's up.
Wait, hold on. It made me verify. Okay, there we go. She was like, hey, don't open that door. Don't peek out that window. Don't do nothing. And look, and when I call, she have a little signature call. She gonna call, let it rain 2 times, hang up, and then call. You know, hey, don't answer that phone the first 2 times. Hey, that's go, boy, you gonna be in trouble. But yeah, like just thinking of that mentality back in the day versus now, you was like, bro, times is had. And then I always say on my actual live, it's like, if you did something in the neighborhood, right? Like I'm talking about something bad or something significant, your neighbors would tell your ass up. Like your neighbors have full authority to give you hot buns. That means belt to booty. I'm talking about, and then the crazy part about it is when your mama got home, she give you that same exact whooping for the exact same thing. But you know, you hear that now, you're like, bro, what? Ain't nobody gonna touch my baby. But that's just how we grew up, and it's crazy.
That was it. Did you have the phone on the wall?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So did you ever have to have somebody calling with a serious call? They have the operator call and break in while you were talking? Because they didn't have no call. We didn't have no call. Well, I didn't have no call waiting when I came up, so it came on later on. So I'd be on the phone sometimes. The operator, this is the operator calling. You have a calling for your mama. I said, okay, I'm about to hang up, and I wouldn't even hang up. I'd just stay on the phone. Woo, boy, my mama found out about that one time. Anyway,
my generation, we had call waiting, so you know you can hear a little beat. I tell you this though, I don't know what possessed me to do this. My mom, she was like, you know how you always would talk about 911, but we never really did it. You know what I'm saying? My group had decided to do 911, so I called 911, and then the dispatcher, she said something. I was like, oh, it's real, and I hung up. I ain't think nothing of it. 2 minutes later, boom, 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 boom. My heart dropped. Oh Lord, what's going on? I go peep out the window. No, I ain't supposed to peep out the window, but it scared the hell out of me. It's 2 cops out there. My heart dropped. Like, oh shit, what I do? I opened the door and I was like, yeah, we had a call, and they was like, is your mommy and dad home? And I was like, no, they went to the store. And he was like, oh well, did you dial 911? And I was like, yeah, but I didn't mean to. And I'm so because even though I said that, you could just kind of see the relief in a sense, and they gave me this whole briefing about understanding the importance of dialing 911 and it being an emergency only. You shouldn't play around and all the other stuff. And I ain't care about none of that shit. I just wanted them to leave before my mama got back.
Don't tell mama.
My mama pulled up right when they got in the car.
Ooh.
Hey, listen, I don't know. Listen to this. Hey, God my witness. I don't know what was said, but the aftermath, I got my ass whooped. Boy, mama gave me hot buns. I don't know what was said. The cops walked over and talked I'm in the window. She out here doing hand movements and doing all this. I'm like in my head, this just can't be good for me. My mama say, oh, you want to play on 911, huh?
You start praying.
Man, I thought I was in the clear. Call me at hot buns.
Oh boy! Hey, I won't even make you bring it up, but I love the one that you told when I first joined your live was about that chair flipping over.
Oh man, my mom, my mom whooped me a lot of times for things that I felt like I shouldn't have got whooping. But this is the last one I'm gonna talk about, and then I'm gonna let it go. So I'm upstairs. I lived in a 2-story home. I'm upstairs, man, and I'm playing Super Nintendo, and my mom calls me, and she's like, Travis. And I'm like, man. So I paused. I was playing Twisted Metal Black. Y'all don't know about Twisted Metal Black. Twisted Metal. Listen. So I run downstairs, and my mom, like, my mom, the type of person, she'll be sitting in her lazy boy, and the remote would literally be hands like arm's length. And she used to call me from all the way upstairs just to go and get her the remote to give it to her when she literally right there. Right. So my mom called me. She's like, Chad. So I run downstairs. I see my mama My mama, for whatever reason, she fell back in her lazy boy and her feet was just doing this. Her feet was just doing that. I was so mad. Like, now, mind you, I'm like 10, 11, probably 12 years old. Her feet just doing this. And she was like, help me up, help me up. And it made me, I don't know why, but I was so mad, I closed the door. I closed the door and I went back upstairs to my room. Now, here's the problem. My mom never came upstairs unless you was in trouble, right? And I didn't think nothing of it. I just slammed the door, ran back upstairs. I was like, man, well, how'd she get like this? Like, I don't know why I was so mad at that, but seeing her and her little feet dangling pissed me off. So I went back upstairs. All right, I was upstairs playing, and then I started hearing them down boards squeak. My mom coming upstairs. Hey, my heart dropped. She bust open that door. You ain't gonna help me, bro. She had that damn belt, and I'm talking about she went to work. Well, I'm talking about she here land. Wow. I'm out here grabbing covers, trying to hide the bed. She picking the bed up with one arm. Wow. Now here's where things get a little crazy, because this is what I mean when I said that I got a whooping for no reason. Some of y'all probably put it together. Some of y'all didn't. She came upstairs and told me up, meaning she didn't need my help to help her in that damn lazy boy with her feet was swinging, because she got up. This whole time she could have gotten up by herself. So why did I get a whooping if you got up by yourself in the first place? I got a whooping for no reason.
You left mama with your feet dangling. You didn't get a whooping for no reason. Don't even try that.
And the last thing. Listen, this is what I'm so. I don't know the word that I'm looking for to describe this feeling. I don't want to say sad, but more so of like, I'm just mad that this generation has missed out on it. And going back to the phones on the wall, man, like these kids these days never no fear of you talking to your girlfriend or you talking to your boyfriend on the phone, and your mama listening on the other line. Like, hey, you hear the thing click over? Hey, or like when you get ready to get out the phone, you like, all right, I love you. Your mama goes, who the hell you love? Who the hell you love? Oh, they daddy pick up the phone and be like, I know y'all lying. What the hell y'all got going? You be like, oh shit, your heart dropped. It is so funny, man, because these kids never understand the fear that had. But it was so crazy because we just looked forward to just talking on the phone like that, you know? Like, yeah. You calling your girlfriend house back in the day, like, oh, yeah, is Samantha there? Nah, she ain't here. Who's this? I'm just a friend, you know? Like, well, hey, friend of Samantha, don't call my phone no more. Click. Wow. The good old days, man. But that's it, though. That's it.
That's what's up. I like that one. That was a good one. That was a good topic. All right, it's time to move on. we can have a whole live about that, about 2 or 3 hours, bro. All right, next topic we're going to talk about is if you could go back to your childhood for a day, what's the first thing you would do?
Ooh, I don't know about the first thing, but I'll tell you one of the most funnest time that I had with my older. I already talked about my older brother that much, not to put dampen the mood, but some things happened between me and my brother that happened. Long story short, my brother's locked up for 37 years, but in this situation, if I can go back, my mom had got us some BB pew pews, right? The little BBs, right? And she was like, hey, every squirrel that you see, you know what I'm saying? You give them a couple of BBs and you bring them back. So we go quote unquote hunting. Like, you know what I'm saying? Look, we go quote unquote hunting in our backyard in the wood. And we out here pew pewing squirrels. I'm talking about squirrels all day long. And my mom, we used to bring the squirrel. I know y'all, I'm country as hell. We used to bring the squirrel to my mom when we was done, and she'd tell us, like, you know what I'm saying, she'd give us some type of motivational thing and all that, and then she'll cut them up, clean them, batter them up, and fry them like chicken. Man, when I tell you that was one of the greatest moments that I had with my older brother, like that little bonding, like those specific times. If I can go back and do that with my older brother, man, I do that all the time. But yeah.
Yeah, I got sidetracked. So for me, I thought about this one a lot, once we decided what we were going to do in the topics. And I think for my mental state, to be honest with you, I would go back and talk to Lil Mike and say, look here, man, it's gonna be all right. You know, you're gonna go through some hard things, but just know that that's not your fault. Because a lot of the stuff I brought with me, I brought that childhood trauma to my adult life. You know, so I just let them know it's gonna be okay. Yeah, you're going through it, but you're all right. You know, so I would go back and have a conversation with myself at that age and let him know that just enjoy your childhood. And when you get up, try to put that stuff behind you the best you can. And I know it's not that easy, but I'm just saying that's what I would do though if I could, to try to ease the things, the emotional trauma, the emotional hurt that I went through because I just didn't know. You know, I was doing things based on what I learned unconsciously, and I would just do them. I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was. You know, so that's what I would do. That's the main thing I would do is have a conversation with myself to make sure that I can be okay as an adult. And that way, you know, because I, like you said, and I really feel that way. I've hurt some people along the way because of the things I did. Not proud of it, but it's only because I didn't know how to deal with the childhood trauma that I had brought into my adult life. You know, so that's what I would want to do.
My next thing that I'll say, the last thing on this topic is my grandma them damn tea cookies, man. Like all I can just smell is just cookies and vanilla extract. You know what I mean? Like every time I smell that specific scent as an adult, I immediately think of my grandma Gigi. Like them damn tea cook, man. If I can go back and just, and the crazy part about it is my grandma Gigi. She was my great grandma. My actual grandma. The only memory I have of her is when she got her leg amputated in the nursing home. So I don't really have a lot of memory about my grandma. But my great grandma Gigi, she was so mean, but she loved me to death. You know what I mean? Like she was more so of like if you sit down and you get your elbows off the table. But then she'll come over and she'll hug you, she'll kiss you, like you know what I mean. So I just remember sitting at the table and just watching her just bake them tea cookies. Like for those of you who don't know what tea cookies is, all I can think of is just the vanilla extra. Like that's all I can just kind of compare the smell to. Obviously, we know what the cookies smell like, but when it comes to that specific scent, I don't know how to compare it to. But I smell it. I smell it all the time. Like especially when I'm going around like places that does a lot of baking, or you know people who have like get-togethers and stuff, and they cooking and baking and stuff. But every time I smell them damn tea cookies, man, I immediately think of my grandma. If I can go back and just sit down with grandma for one more time, you know, and just chop it up one time, you know, and just eat some tea cookies, you know, just have that type of memory or that type of moment with my grandma off that, man, it'd be a blessing. But if I could go back, that's definitely what I would do.
I like that because I would do the same thing. Also, go back. My grandmother, man, she's my girl. She almost like raised me in a sense, you know. So just having conversations with her around the kitchen. It's most grandmothers back then. It was around the kitchen. You in the kitchen doing something, whether it was cooking tea, cookies, or whatever. You were doing something in the kitchen, and that's how they connected with you while they were cooking and talking. I don't think I regret is I didn't learn a lot of those secrets when I was in there talking. I was too busy trying to eat up some stuff in there, you know. So, but anyway. I agree with that. I really like that one because it was a great memory, and I look back on it a lot and some of the lessons she taught me, and yeah, so it was a great time, man. It really was. It's sad. Go ahead.
Oh my bad. Like you know, just because you saying the recipes, I remember her having a tin can, with all her recipes in it, and me not caring to look at it. Me not caring because my grandma was right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? My grandma, like, it didn't dawn on me that, you know, she ain't gonna be here. I'm like, I don't need to learn that. My grandma's gonna be right there. And now, like, man, well, that if I could just look at that can of recipes, that little tin can, she had all her recipes written down. That's crazy.
Oh, that was gold, right? We didn't realize what we were missing out on, you know. So, and now we do, and we wish we had looked in the can, you know, because all of them had something. They put the recipe, whether it was a can, a little box, or whatever. They go in that little box, come out before you know it's a cake in front of you, you know. So, but yeah, man, that's all I have on that one, brother.
Yeah, I'm good on that one too.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. So the last one we're gonna jump into is what's one lesson you like to tell the newer generation for navigating the future? I know you're gonna like this one. I'll jump on this one. I'll let you jump in. I would go back and tell them once you leave home, once you start working, start investing immediately. Start investing immediately, and if you can buy property, you know, a guy told me at my first base, he said every base you go to, buy a house. And I said, Ain't buying no house. I didn't do it. But if I had done that, man, I would have had like 10 houses. They would have been making me money now because they've been paid off by now because I'm well retired after the military, but I just didn't do it though. So that's what I would tell someone. Start investing, save your money, and also going ahead and making sure that you get your education, and do that early. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, you make some valid and some valid reasons, but I'm gonna go the complete opposite way. If I could tell something productive to the younger generation, it'll be to slow down. And this is something that I'm still consistently learning now at my big age. And when I mean slow down, I mean genuinely just that. Like when you're a kid, right? Like you just want to just grow up. Oh, I'm tired of high school, not knowing that this is gonna be the last time you generally gonna be around your friends. This is the last time you really gonna be in that setting with your peers in that, in this atmosphere. Or why I gotta have a curfew, not necessarily understanding that the reason why the curfew is there is to protect you. You don't see it like that because you're a kid. I can't wait till I'm grown so I can go out and party and do all this all the time. You're so fast to just wanting to grow up and just do things that you don't, in a sense, just kind of understand the blessing and the teachings that you're receiving right now. Because there's a lot of people who didn't have parents in a sense, who grew up in single parent. Not saying that's a bad thing in a sense, but when you not understand the reason behind what's being enforced or what's putting in place, and you a kid, you have that kid mentality. All you want to do is be an adult and just grow up. The crazy part about it is you don't understand. Like being an adult is a 1 star out of 5. Highly unrecommended. Because no one tells you that you have to pay bills. I take that back. They tell you have to bills, but you don't understand that concept until it's time. Or when the first time you get your license, what I'm saying, you want to drive all the time because it's fun. You're a kid, like you're like, oh my god, I get to drive. Until you're an adult and you got to drive, you're like, I don't want to get on this highway. I don't want, what I'm saying, I don't want to do all those things. But yeah, if I could give some type of advice, it'd genuinely be just slow down. A lot of times, man, we want that instant gratification instead of that delayed gratification. We talked about it on a few podcasts ago. That instant gratification, a lot of times, is kind of what forces us to not appreciate the things that we have because you always want to get the next best thing. You got the iPhone 14, the iPhone 15, the iPhone 16. It's just all these things that you want now for the self gratification versus the delayed gratification. Are you understanding the process and you being able to appreciate that going forward versus you just chasing instant gratification?
You really shocked me just now. I'll just let you know that I'm surprised. I'm really surprised. I almost fell out the chair. I'm so surprised. You gave the example. You didn't say Samsung. You said iPhone this, iPhone that. Look at all that credit you're giving the iPhone. Do you want an iPhone on the side?
It's because they want instant gratification. They're never gonna get it with an iPhone. But I digress. That's why I ain't say Samsung. They with
right? Understood. I knew it was a method to your madness. To touch on what you said, though, my daughter is going through that right now. She's ready to be an adult, but she's not ready to grow up. If that makes sense. We talk about it all the time. My youngest daughter, we talk about it all the time, and she says that she's not ready. She's ready to get out of school, out of college, but she's not ready to take on that adult responsibility. So it's so true when you say that she's seeing it. She gets it. I didn't get it. I was like, I'm ready to go, And then I got fooled because I went to the Philippines, and then I went to the Philippines for 2 years, and then right after that I went to Korea for 2 years. So I was overseas for 4 years as a young man. So I didn't really have no responsibilities. Money was long and all that stuff as an airman, So I had it easy. Came back to the States though, and reality said, bam, apartment, gas, water, electric, car, credit card, all that stuff. Yeah, I didn't have to do none of that overseas, man. But came back to the States, man, and all that. And now I didn't live as an adult in the States until I was almost 27 years old because I went over to the Philippines when I was 21. So by 26, I came back and I didn't live in the States for 4 years. So I never had those responsibilities. I had a little bill. We paid a little guy in the dorm to clean the room up and stuff like that. But that was it. I had no electric, gas, and water and all that stuff. Car payment, car was paid off. So I had nothing, So yeah, I agree with you. The same thing I would do too. Slow down, slow down and enjoy your childhood. Enjoy the high school experience. Enjoy the time we're making, going out there to the corner store and things like that. Hanging with your friends in the neighborhood, because once you become an adult, it's time to all that gets put aside. It's time to be an adult, you know. So yeah.
Work. And the crazy part about it is you don't think about it, but you did your last sleepover, not knowing it. You know what I'm saying? You did your last bike ride with the homies, not knowing it. You did your graduation, you know, your high school graduation, you know, like you're like, oh yeah, my life about to start. My life about to do this, you know what I'm saying, about the adventure, but not knowing like this is gonna be the last time all of y'all are together in this aspect, man. Like, you know, we really about to go our separate ways and adventure in life, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all that'll be my advice. Slow down.
Oh yeah, slow down. I like that one though. Slow down and take your time because hey, once you get there, I wish I was back in high school. That wish is not coming true.
And it's so crazy because I remember when the kids like, I can't wait to get out of high school. I'm like, you better slow down. Because it's gonna come a time you're gonna be like, man, I wish I was back in high school. I ain't gonna never want to be back in high school, man. Listen, if I can go back to high school like this,
You are wild. Not Simon. Not Simon being that Jim, Simon.
you know what I'm saying? If I go to high school like this, oh man, some furniture moving around. It'd be some smoke.
You weren't like that. You weren't like that in high school.
I was big in high school, but I wasn't like this. Sometimes I don't know where to put them. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can't put them up.
you know what I'm saying? But yeah,
man.
that's
Good.
Particularly speaking, that's definitely slow down.
I like that one. Slow down. So look here, everybody that's out there listening. If you have any questions, if you have anything you want to ask us that you want us to talk about other than the things we talked about, go ahead and ask them now. Or if you want to ask us questions about the things we talked about, put them in the chat. Lee and I will get them for us. They'll come up and they will give them to us in the order that they will receive. And also, this is going to be your last time. He's going to probably come on for a few times here, random here and there. But it's just your last time to get Simon for a little while. Maybe over the weekend he may go on once. I'm not sure, but he's going to be taking care of some business, seeing family and things like that. So he may not be on as much. So if you have questions or things you want to ask him, ask me, ask both of us. We will stay here for a little while and answer those questions if you have anything you want to talk about. You have something on your mind or whatever it is. We answer most questions, but some things you have to respect us that we may not answer. That's just it's our personal preference, though. But anyway, put them in the chat if you have something. Let us know. Simon?
Honest talk about no. For those of you who don't know, Honest and I, man, we went to high school together.
Oh, okay.
You don't know that.
What's up, Honest?
Simon, enjoy the yeah, man. Y'all have any questions? Just what Big Bro said, man. Anything to do with the podcast or in life in general, or questions, concerns, anything y'all want to build. We here, man. Again, just what he said. This is my last one, the last official podcast in Korea. I'm ecstatic. Like, I'm just, man, like, you know how, like, you just wait for this moment and then the moment comes, you're like, nah, this ain't it. You know? I don't think it's really going to hit me until I get on that plane. When I get on that plane,
you're not even going to sleep Sunday night. You're going to be wide awake, hyped up.
The flight is 19 hours long, for those of you who don't know. And I'm 6'3". So it's like, man, my knees, my legs, I be like, bro, come on, fly faster, bro. What's going on?
We're gonna go live when they get back. One time we're gonna meet up and we're gonna go live together in person.
Facts. And not shock the world.
Shock the world. Hey, look, if y'all don't have any questions, you know, we always say that we try to think about things that would be asked of us and we try to answer them. But tonight it was just basically a little fun session after we got through the first one. So just want to have a little fun and make it easy and go out on the bang, you know, as far as just enjoying ourselves and having a good time. I love going back down memory lane, though, bro.
Yeah, definitely that. The first one we talked about, for those of you who just joining, is the generational curses. So just make sure that you apply the things that we kind of, you know what I'm saying, we talked about, because it's serious. So we know that.
Yeah. Eyes and Leader, y'all have any questions for us that you see?
Man, them down street lights. I'm still trying to street light. I remember we used to have after we started, you know what I'm saying, we being the squirrels, man, it went to rabbits. Man, I don't know when you say rabbits, people like not the rabbits, man. Hey, some rabbit soup. I'm country as hell.
Hey, you're not by yourself. I'm gonna tell you anything and everything that was in the forest coming up. I've eaten possum, coon,
Yeah,
rabbit,
yeah.
squirrel,
Awesome,
all of it.
cool. Fact. And
So
you say that out loud, people like, oh my God, how y'all eating it? But like you don't know it's weird because that's the norm for us. Like that's how we grew up.
she said,
With fucking rabbits.
oh, man, what's going on, Eyes and Lee? How y'all doing? Thank y'all very much.
Good evening
What
and
it
good
do?
morning. So, the first question was, are you guys going to switch to IG or YouTube Live if TikTok gets shut down?
So we're not. TikTok has been extended for another 70 something days. You all's president, he did another executive order, so it's not going to be shut down this weekend. But in the future, though, we are planning to switch solely going live on YouTube. But we're not going to do that until Legendary gets back and gets settled in, and then we will definitely let everyone know when we're going to do that. So that's why we say go ahead and subscribe now, because eventually we will not be doing our Parallel Gens podcast on here. We will only be doing it on YouTube, and then the actual segment that we record will be on YouTube as well. So yeah, so eventually, yes, we're going to go ahead and switch over, but it will also be across other platforms as well. So, but YouTube is going to be the main spot for us eventually. We don't have a timetable on it yet, but we just gonna let him get back and get settled, and that way we can get everything set up, and then we're gonna go that route. Legendary, you have anything on that one?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about the aspect of when I'm getting back. So, I mean, listen, I understand that a lot of you understand what the transition that's about to occur for myself. But for those of you who don't know, don't think of it as in like, you know what I'm saying, I just threw y'all away and all that stuff when you don't see me on live as often the first couple of weeks or so. It's genuinely, listen, I'm not trying to insult y'all intelligence or anything, but it's genuinely me getting integrated back at home. You know what I'm saying? Seeing my family, spending time with my kids, etc. And then getting my place and just getting set up. You know, it's gonna take a little bit, but once I'm settled in and we good to go, I promise you it'll be like we never stop. With that being said, though, the easier thing is the time zone. So I'm in Korea right now, and it's currently 10 a.m. Saturday morning for me currently right now. And obviously it's still Friday for y'all. But when I get back, a lot of y'all are just used to me going live early in the morning. I won't be going live early in the morning anymore because I'll be back in the States on your time. So it'll be 7 at night, 8, 9 ish, sometime around that time. So just so y'all know that.
Yeah, and you won't be able to mess with us about when we go on at nighttime. You go in the morning. This is too early for me.
Yeah. Be early as
When you
hell
have
for
us up
me.
at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Like right now for y'all, you know what I'm saying? I have to get up at 7 this morning on my off day, Saturday.
Oh, oh! So it's you so hurt. Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
Any more questions, Izali?
The next question was, what is your greatest accomplishment, your proudest moment?
Mm.
Whew, outside of like, things that's implied, kids of that nature, but I would say my I don't know about greatest accomplishment, but the most thing that I'm in a sense like thankful for is my first deployment. Me coming back from my first deployment. My first deployment was in 2007, and I did 15 months. Man, that wasn't a good experience for me, but I understand the reason as to why I had to go through it. But me coming back from that after everything that happened, those of you who know, you kind of know. But just being able to come back, not only come back, but still being in my right state of mind and still being able to function properly, and etc. is something that I'm truly grateful for in that aspect.
Yeah, for me, I'll just say it like this, and I'm not avoiding it, but I'm just telling you, I'm still living mine now because of where I came from. I was talking to someone about it just a couple of weeks ago, and they asked me why do I think what I'm about to say to you is that I think I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at. But the person tried to she spun it and said that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So me being able to make it to this point, coming from the things where I came from, I'm living my greatest accomplishment every day right now. Accomplishment every day right now because, you know, statistics say that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing now because, I never thought I'd be in the military. That happened to me. That was a blessing for me. Never thought I'd be in a civilian job I'm doing now. That was a blessing for me. And it's all because of me going to the military. So my greatest accomplishment is going in the military, and it helped shape me into the man that I am today. Whether good or bad experiences, it brought me to this very point in my life right now. So that's what mine is, going into the military and being where I am right now.
Big facts.
Anything else?
Gully, what up, son?
Eyes Elite, you all want to say something to the people before we get up out of here, since we won't be on together for a few weeks?
The only thing I want to say is thank you guys for joining us on every podcast and being present. We appreciate you.
And I'll just say ditto. No, thank you guys for all of your support, all the gifts, all the taps, all the shares, all the subscribers on YouTube. We appreciate all of your support. It doesn't go unnoticed. We building this from the bottom up, so we appreciate y'all being here while we're at the bottom and coming up to the top. So thank you.
Right. And I can say, if you have already subscribed, go ahead and share with a friend or two. Let them know to do the same thing. But I also want to say, before we get off here, myself and Legendary, we love to run our mouths. We can talk about life all day long, every day. But one of the things we appreciate the most is Lee and Eyes, because they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. All we do is we just come on here and run our mouths for the most part, So without them, this is a quadruple team right here. This is the team right here. And this is what we do, and they help us come over here and make it easier for us to come over here and share our experience, our life experiences with you all. And they also keep us in line, because sometimes we don't always follow directions, So they keep us in line and make sure we stay on track. But I just want to say to you all, you ladies, we appreciate you guys very much, and Legendary.
Yeah, just what you said, man. Emphasis on a team. Like, even though you just see the most of the time, you see myself and the big bro, but there's Eyes and Lees there as well. So all four of us create parallel gens, right? Just so y'all all in the announcement with that. But yeah, again, last official podcast here in Korea. Getting ready to fly out here shortly. Got 19 hours. I'm gonna get back. I mean, I'm a post here and there just to keep people updated in a sense. But for the most part, I'm a relax for a little bit, enjoy the family time, and then get settled in, and then right back at like we never left. You know what I mean?
Did y'all see any more questions before we jump off?
Yeah, we have one more. Do you think now is a good time for a young man going into the military or go to a HBCU?
I don't see anything wrong with either one of those. But let me say this about the military. For me, I didn't have no direction when I came out of high school. I didn't know what I wanted to do, where I was going, anything like that. So coming in the military gave me an opportunity to get paid, have a place to stay, and have food on the table. I ate 3 meals a day. I still eat 3 meals a day to this day, because of that. But it gave me the opportunity to grow up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yes, but I would say if it's their direction to go to school, I would say yes. The only thing about school, though, they have to be ready to go to school, because they're not ready. They're going to waste a lot of money and time when they could have gone into the military to grow up a little bit and then go to school, because that's what I did. I didn't have anyone pushing me to go to college or anything, but just being around the people in the military that I was around, the professionalism and things like that, I got focused, and I grew up, and I grew out of some of those childish things that I was doing as a young man, and then got my education, So I would say neither one of those things are wrong, but it just depends on what your son, what he's willing to do right now, and if he's really ready to go to college or not. Legendary.
Yeah, just to add on to what Big Bro said, this is why it's important for you to utilize the compare and contrast technique. Compare and contrast, and then genuinely just tell them to genuinely be truthful about what their goals and things is. Me personally, I'm a visual person and I'm a doer, so I have to visually see it and then put hands on to do things. So what that looks like is genuinely you just writing things down. You kind of, in a sense, putting out your plan, what you plan on doing, short term, midterm, and then long term, and then how you plan on accomplishing those goals, and not just one way, because we all know, like, once you stop at the first stumbling block, you don't have a different path or an alternate route, you're gonna quit, right? So understanding that, but just what Big Bro said, like, you just have to understand where it is that you're trying to go. Again, myself, I went straight out of high school into the military. So just what Big Bro said, like I didn't have any direction. I have anyone pushing me to go to college. I didn't have, that man aspect in my life. So me coming to the military just gave me a great foundation as to far as of how I should represent myself as a man, and then going through, those things. When it comes to the college aspect, you can go to college in the military, and the military will pay for it for the most part. But just what Big Bro said, like you have to seriously put all your attention and things in the college, because if you don't pass, you will pay that money back, you know? And then on the outside of that, I never really experienced the college life, in the civilian side, but there is a different atmosphere when you actually go into college, outside of the work aspect. You have a lot of distractions. Some of you might think those distractions are good and or bad, depending on however it is that you perceive it or your perception is. But just if you want to go to college in that aspect, just understand the motivation and understanding what's the outcome that you see for yourself.
I would say the person that asked that question, if you have scholarships and things like that, I would sit down with my son and talk to him. Look, you got an opportunity to get free school. Don't mess it up. If you don't have the opportunity to get free school, go into the military, and then you can go for 4 to 6 years. Then you have that GI Bill or whatever they call it at the time when it goes in, and that's free school. So I would just, like you said, just pros and cons of it, and then having a serious conversation about what school is all about. Because we know that in school, a lot of our friends, I saw a lot of my friends where they were in school or they were at school, but they weren't in school. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Anything else? Well, all right. If there are no more questions, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Go subscribe if you're not already subscribed. If you've already subscribed, bring a friend or two over. Tell them to subscribe as well. Like Legendary said, this is his last one. I'll let him talk about that in a minute. But we really appreciate you all coming in and hanging out with us morning and night. So once he get back and get settled in, we will be able to definitely lock in a time. So we'll be consistent with when we'll be coming on, so you all know it. What we try to do throughout this time frame, through the 15 episodes so far, is just make sure we touch both our, because I go on in nighttime, he goes on in the morning time for us. So now we're going to just bring that to a certain time where we can be very consistent. Thank you all very much for coming in. We will see y'all in the street sometime. Legendary.
Yeah, man. Listen, same thing Big Bro said. Appreciate y'all for all the support, all the love that y'all consistently give, all of the times that y'all allow us to give y'all our experiences and knowledge and etc. The show must go on. Getting ready to fly out 19 hours. I know y'all sick of me saying it, but the next time that you see me on the podcast again, I'll be back in the States. I might go live once or twice while I'm here, but other than that, though, that'll be it. Y'all have a great and blessed Friday night. All right, go have fun. Just make sure that y'all be safe. I'm not giving y'all a safety brief, but be responsible adults. And then last but not least, be the reason someone smiles today and this weekend and for more. Y'all be safe.
One love.